ShedLog for Sunday the 14th of November 2021. Hello, I'm Robert and welcome to my shed. I'm going to look at mortises. So naturally, I'm going to draw a triangle. Here is a straight line. Here is a piece of plywood which won't warp much with machined edge. So I call that a straight edge. I'm going to call this a sixth of a circle. So I draw this, I split this line to three equal angles, and what I'm going to do is got this angle up here. I'm going to reflect that down here. This angle up here I'm going to reflect down here. So that goes on here. This angle is a reflection of this angle because simple rotational symmetry. These two form this two, so this is the third, this is 2/3. And same down here. This third reflects on this line as this third, and that's these two. It's just, if you look at this one, all I'm doing is rotating it around the center point to make the same pattern. Okay, so now I've drawn the equilateral triangle. Who'd have thunk it? Three angles the same, and as you can see, this line is the same length as this line, is the same length as this line. If I rotate this around the center point, a third of a circle, I get the same shape. But more interestingly, I can rotate this a sixth of a circle around this top point. So this line becomes this line to this point here. This line becomes this line, which is already drawn. And this line becomes this line between these two points. Has to be because the points match. So that means this angle becomes this angle, and this angle becomes this angle, and this is another equilateral triangle. This length is the same as this length, and the same as this length. And I can do the same on the other side. I can keep going. I can rotate again. So I happen to form a straight line, because the same as this all forms a straight line, these all form straight lines. So this angle becomes this angle becomes this angle, and so on and so forth. And you end up with all of these angles the same, and all of these lines, at least all the individual lines, the same length. Obviously you get double lines in the middle. But what we have at this point is a regular hexagon. This is not the fast way to draw a hexagon, it is the way to demonstrate why the fast way works. So, these lines are radiuses, or radii I should say, each because they radiate from the center. They're all the same length. Now, you have a radius, that means you have a circle. So I can draw a circle, the same radius. Obviously this is freehand. And the radius the circle will go through all of these points because all these points are the same distance from the center, which is the same as the circle. So what I want to do is to draw a hexagon and orient it properly. So I need a center point and I need a horizontal line through the center point because I want the orientation to have this straight lines top and bottom. So I pick a point where the horizontal line meets I draw a circle around the center and pick a horizontal point where the horizontal line meets the circle, and then I draw a chord, which is part of a circle, centered on that point, there and there. Move the compass to here, draw another chord, here and here. I do that to make sure that's matched. I can pick this one, I can draw a chord here and here, pick this one, I can draw chords here, and so on. I just keep going around. Once I know where all 6 points are, I can draw a circle and don't need to change the compasses or measure anything, as long as I know how big it is. Now what I want to do is make a hexagonal through mortise. The reason, this is a plug. The plugs fit through hexagons quite nicely because the flanges fit the wider bit and there's enough space at the bottom to fit the earth point. By the way, UK plugs, best in the world. They're far the safest, but they're also the bulkiest. I could wax lyrical about the safety features of a UK plug. So I just need to translate this to a piece of wood. Whistle-stop Pythagorean proof of some Euclidean geometry. Okay, so I was going to do the compass work on camera, but I realised you can't actually see anything, so instead I've just marked out all the points, which I can see in pencil. And I'm just going to draw a hexagon between the points using my trusty scalpel. Now, why scalpel? Because it will mark the wood through the paper. Put the paper on because I don't really want the guidelines to show. It's possible I might have damaged the wood a little bit, but we'll see. Compass decided to change angle while I was marking things out, so I had to start again. Yes, just drawing the 6 lines with a knife down to the wood, and that, once it's marked out, is the start of my mortise. It's quite nice to pull away the masking tape and reveal a perfect hexagon. Prove at least that I have cut out a hexagon. Okay. Now, yes, I can just see the marking on the wood there, and if I can see it, that means I can register a chisel on it. The next step is to take a chisel. Now, I'm not going to use this chisel because it's got a slight back bevel on it and it would damage it a bit. I'm going to use this, which is my widest chisel. It'd be nicer to use a straight-edged bench chisel, but so I take my chisel. I'm going to start with the edges that are horizontal because that's across the grain. Across the grain is good because it keeps the wood from splintering or tearing out. I don't have any chisel points with the grain, which is a little bit annoying because that would be easier to cut, but so much of woodwork is about marking out. So even this is a kind of marking out. I'm just defining the shape. Oh, ran off. It's alright. No one noticed. Okay, so I've got that defined. Okay, so the next step, might as well do this first time on camera, so just do each step as I can, is to take a shaving off the top. Now I see there's a tiny little knot there, which is going to be fun. But yeah, for this one, actually, I can switch to my big chisel and just do some wasting out. Yeah, you see I'm going along the grain where I can. Speed things up a bit. I'm not actually going right in to the corners because I'm worried I'll tear out. If I go right to the edge, I don't have anything left to lever on, and I don't know that touch up, so a rough job of wasting out. See that sort of thing. It's torn beyond where I put the chisel. Which I'm wasting out. Just give myself a 1/4 inch or so near the edge. Just to and should never really hammer towards yourself. This piece of wood is big enough I don't really have to clamp it. I might end up clamping it just to get myself a bit more space. Okay, I'm going to clean my tools up. Feels good too. What I really want to do at this point is just take off the surface wood. A bit at the bottom, I'm going to use a regular bench chisel. Just pull that out. Because if I don't, well, easier to use a chisel the right size, and if I don't take that out, it's going to cause issues. Right. Okay, so having done that, all I need to do now is take my chisel and just keep going. Notice I'm not going straight, even though I want straight edges at the end. What I'm doing at the moment is just angling in. Quite comfortable with that. Oh, this is fun. What I'm trying to do now is use this buffer that I've given myself to lever out the wood. But and it's a little bit more difficult on these corners, so there we go. I might keep switching between larger and smaller tools just to get these, make sure I'm going into the corner pieces. About to break through. I tried drilling through and it just wasn't, it's too thick to drill through really. And that side, so I took the trunk off. So I'm just going to actually go from this side and just break through. That's the plan. So I definitely need sharpening after this. That's one very thin layer of veneer. Get to the point where it's hard to get that chisel in. There you go. Just through, it becomes a lot easier. In fact, what I'm going to do is put this in the vise. where bits go flying. Okay, so now we have something roughly hexagonal that needs a bit more work to get it smoothed up. So next step, I'm going to put a piece of scrap wood underneath, just so I don't go straight through. Let's just clean this up. At this point, it's just a matter of taking out everything. That does not look like a hexagon. As we get closer, it becomes more important to not to remove too much material. So it's quite tricky to do this and narrate what I'm doing at the same time, so please bear with me. Okay, so the success criteria, well, the sides should be smooth. It should look like a hexagon, ideally. I should be able to pass this plug through the hole. This one's a good piece of steel, but its handle is wearing out and the blade needs re-grinding. Ooh, lovely. Okay. Cutting this on the mark. That's pretty darn close, I think. It's not quite perfect because I didn't actually use a tape measure to measure out the length, and that it's only accurate to about 1/2 mil or so. But that's not bad. Okay. So a little bit more to take off that side. That one's pretty close. That one's pretty close as well. So cool. Okay. That isn't far off. As you can see, there's a bit of tearing out on the sides there. It's going to need trimming to make it look smooth. But that's actually not too hard to do. This is nice and big, and I can get the chisel in. actually want a smaller and sharper chisel. They were all sharp when I started, but okay, I think there's a little bit of tidying up to do with a chisel. And it's basically just that. But all the corners look sharp, at least on the outside. Not quite happy with this. I might open bevel edge on this. Just tidy up inside. And this is going to pass easily through the hole. So I think I'm calling that a success. Well, that's all I've got for this week. I will see if I can get still of this in situ, show it working once it's done, and I'll probably edit this and put it up tomorrow because it's taking a bit longer than I thought. So, see you next time for more shed action. Ta-ta! Right, so this is divided into 3 equal angles, so these are all the same. These are the same length, and because of the, that's not right. I'm going to start again. Robert ShedLog for Sunday the 14th of November 2021. Hello, I'm Robert, welcome back to my shed. Work's gotten in the way, but I'm back for a bit, hopefully. Yeah. Let's draw a line, because I want to talk about mortises. That's a terrible line. This doesn't actually have a machined edge on it. You know what, I'm just going to start that one again. Robert ShedLog for Sunday the 14th of